to Steve. Let's talk about your show. And I have a special guest today, and my special guest today is Irini Mando. And she's going to pronounce it. She's going to maybe pronounce it a bit better than me.
No,
so,
you're doing good. You're doing good.
Welcome,
Thank
Irini.
you.
Thank you for coming into our school today. It is amazing to see you perform and everything.
Thank
so,
you.
I'm just going to ask you some few questions, and you can just like let the listeners get a feel of how your background is, how you got to do what you're doing now.
Right.
So, without further ado, tell me, how did you get involved in like singing and your background? Tell us anything you like about yourself.
Oh gosh, I don't know where to start. I mean, I've been singing forever. I started taking piano lessons when I was 5, but that was like classical music. So I'm sure it like contributed to my ear,
Yes.
like training my ear. But in terms of singing, I was also like in choir since I was 5, and then we did like a musical production in school. So like nothing major or super like, huge, but that's the first time I sang solo in front of like 200, 300 people a night when I was 9.
Oh, that's a lot of people still, for a 9-year-old as well.
For a 9-year-old,
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds more impressive than it felt at the time, because it was just like...
That was a good feat though, I would say that was a good feat. So, did you have a natural love for music then, or was it something that you was always singing around the house?
Always.
In the bathroom?
Oh, my sister hated it. In the car. Like it would full-blown fights because I was singing so much, and she'll probably be really mad at me for saying that now. She's very supportive now, but then she just couldn't stand it because I wouldn't stop, I
could imagine.
But yeah, I mean, growing up, I listened to a lot of R&B and pop, and a bit later on hip hop as well. But like initially, it was a lot of predominantly African American women, Beyonce, Alicia Keys.
Are they some of your favourite artists that you listen female artists that you listen to?
Definitely, I think it just really influenced me, and then also people like obviously Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, and but also people like Britney Spears and the Backstreet Boys. You know what I mean? It's the best of both worlds, and I think what I loved the most, really what shines through, is that they were performers. They weren't just singing a song, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they were there to entertain, like they brought the sauce, and everybody was enjoying their life.
I like that metaphor, you brought the sauce, and that's a really important thing, because I always say that it is about a show, and it's about entertaining. It's about singing, so it's really a real positive thing. So in terms of your background, where did you grow up? You're a London girl, are you?
Yeah, I am now, but so I lived in Germany. Like my family's Greek, but I was born and raised in Germany.
Okay.
Southern Germany, kind of middle of nowhere, but like close to Switzerland and France, and kind of an international corner if you think about it. But it also kind of felt really like just small town at the same time, you know what I mean? So yeah, and I grew up there, and then I moved here when I finished school, because I always knew I wanted to have an international career.
Right.
I did get a lot of pushback when I finished school, because I knew I wanted to do an international music career, and I knew it would have to be in English, right? So, and a lot of people were like not getting it. They were like, why? Or people back home, it's so different from here. Like they don't even see what I do as a possibility of a career. Yeah. Like I would even casually just meet like friends of my parents when I was like about to finish school, about to move to London, and they were like, so what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I want to do music. Oh, so you mean opera? And I was like, no. Oh, so musical theatre? I was like, not quite, that stuff they do on MTV, Exactly, but it's a huge industry, and funny enough, in Germany, the industry is even bigger than in the UK as well.
I was about to say that to you, because
crazy.
I do know that the music industry in Germany is massive. It's unsurprising. People who don't really understand the music business don't realise that it's a massive hub in terms of music. A lot of good producers will come out there and so forth. So I do get that. But in terms, I really appreciate you coming into our school today, and I know that you was talking about the mental health side and things like that. So how did you start bringing that into some of your speeches and going into schools and discussing?
That's a good question. I think it's just because I just feel strongly about it. I've just been in situations where I feel like, had I just known something 10 years prior, you know, like it would have affected how I acted. And I do think, to be fair, like the next generation, from what I see, like specifically people who are the age of secondary school, I think they are way more, I don't know, in touch with how they're feeling, their emotions, how to communicate that. And I think that's a good sign, you know, like we're moving in the right direction, but I still think it hasn't reached everyone yet, so I'm just really happy to talk about it. And also just to be a sounding board for the kids where they can relate to me on a different level, because to hear something from a teacher is one thing, or from a parent is another, do you know what I mean? But they sometimes need to hear it from someone who they don't know, or like who they just look up to in a different way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes I suppose it's on a similar thing where you have like I don't know, let's use like a football coach, and then you've got the parent trying to coach the child as well. Then it's not the same. And then when they go to coach this, it's like there's some of the things are not attached to the coach as it would be your parents. So there's a difference. And sometimes there's a difficulty in even kids talking to their parents and what they're going through and the feelings. And you know, I do commend you for actually bringing that out, because it also shows people that, you know, sometimes they see people on the TV or performing and say, oh, they've got everything going, but they don't actually understand that. We know we're all human, and we can have all these different things.
It's like a bad day.
We
all have a bad day.
Absolutely.
You know? We all have a terrible reaction to something at some point that we're not proud of. And that's okay.
And I do, and you know, because I sort of work with behaviour a lot of these kids, you know, my motto is about, it's like, you know, you can have a bad day. There's nothing wrong in having a bad day. Right. It's how you bounce back from that bad day, I always say, you know. And the mental health for our kids, I think, is so important. And as you say, they are more in touch with
I think so.
I think so. I mean, I'm a little bit of a dinosaur. So
don't say
going back, it was a little bit taboo talking about that, about people's mental health. And
I think there was a lot of toxicity. There was a lot of toxic masculinity. You know what I mean? And I think that's culturally that's shifting, and I think that's beautiful. I mean, I don't know if this is appropriate to talk about, but I just watched like the new Top Boy series, and I don't know if you've seen it.
No, I haven't seen it, but
there's like moments where one of the main characters, he's started having panic attacks. I don't want to, no spoilers by the way, but like someone started having panic attacks, and he was like asking his boy, like, what is this? What, like, I've never had this before. And I love that they've built something like that into the show, because before it would always just be like, oh, he's like a big boss, he's hard, he's this, he's that. And now it's like, no, but we're seeing a different side, we're seeing a vulnerability which is human, you know?
And I actually think that when you sort of like think about it, you know, you have all these characters that the people see on, that our kids see on TV, and it's a little bit of an illusion, because they think, they've got to be that, and they then try some themselves to try to be like that. But the reality is like, that's not even real. And that person would probably tell you, that's not even me, that's just me acting.
Exactly.
So I think it's finding the balance, and it's really positive that we have, you know, people like yourself who are coming out and openly speaking about it, and not being afraid to say, like, you know, I've suffered from a little bit. And the thing is, probably a lot of people probably suffer from it and don't even realise.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't know when it first like started. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's why I'm grateful that that's changing.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Listen, Irini, I could sit down here and speak to you for hours. It's
likewise.
You know, it's just fantastic. I really do appreciate you coming in and taking your time and coming in. I hope we can have you back again.
School here. You do have a special school.
No, I'm really pleased with what you've come in and done today. The kids are actually ecstatic about you being here. So once again, give it up for Irini, Mando, and please come back again and see us.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.